names. Could be a couple. Could be a couple different.
It could be a couple, but I'm always talking about Morgan Wallen. I don't give a shit.
Okay, can I just say, first of all, I fucking love Hayley Williams, because one thing that I can't stand is when actors will be shading people in their industry. They'll be like they'll be talking shit, but not wanting to name names. And it's like, at this point, come on, just name the fucking names, okay? Name the names. Hayley Williams is like, oh, I have no problem with that. It's always about Morgan Wallen. It's always about Morgan Wallen. That's who I'm always talking about. Okay, so just some context to this. In Hayley's latest solo album, Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, she has a song. She has a song with the line, "I'll be the biggest star at this racist country singer's bar." And she is talking about Morgan Wallen, obviously. I mean, well, not obviously. That could go for quite a few. But I think she has before called out Morgan Wallen. And I think, didn't we talk about that when we were listening to her album? I'm sure we were like, this has to be Morgan Wallen. Like, this has got to be. To quote Kendrick Lamar, fuck sneak dissing. If I catch flight, it's going to be direct. Thank you for sharing that doc last night. You're welcome. We thought it could be Jason Aldean. Yeah, I mean, I guess there is more than one racist country singer who has a bar. Who is Morgan Wallen? Okay, so Morgan Wallen is one of the biggest country stars, if not like the biggest male country star right now. He was on video a couple years ago using the N-word, and he's the guy who after he did SNL, he left the stage before the show was even done and then posted the "Take Me to Get Me Back to God's Country," which now is one of my favorite things to send people. Like, if I'm somewhere where I don't want to be, I just send a friend that screenshot from a private jet, by the way. Like a picture of the private jet that he's flying, he's leaving New York on, saying, "Take me back to, get me back to God's country." Which is now my favorite thing to say. Like, get me back to God's country. And by that, I mean my couch. God's country being my couch. So yeah, that is Morgan Wallen, a very successful country singer who Hayley Williams does not fuck with. He also like threw a chair off a bar roof, shit like that, just getting intoxicated in public and doing those kinds of things. Speaking of country stars, Nicole Kidman retires drag king persona Keith Urban. Can I just say that it's a rarity to have the media and to have the internet totally on the side of the woman in a celebrity relationship that has just broken up. I can't believe it because it so rarely happens, but also, one, Nicole is the people's mother. It's Nicole Kidman. Everybody loves Nicole Kidman. She's the greatest. It's Nicole Kidman. And two, because immediately shit already came out that had Keith Urban looking bad. And I think because when the news was announced that Nicole and Keith were separating, there was already an assumption that it was Keith's fault. That it was definitely something that Keith Urban did. Is woke back? I don't know. I don't know if woke's back or it's just because Nicole Kidman is the AMC lady and everyone's like, that's the AMC lady.
I'll be the biggest star at this racist country singer's bar.
You want to name names? Could be a couple. Could be a couple different.
It could be a couple, but I'm always talking about Morgan Wallen. I don't give a shit. Find me at Whole Foods, bitch. I don't care.
The line on.
Oh, I love her. I love her. So glad I can finally say Keith Urban was dead weight and not good enough for her. Yeah. You know what? This is the kind of energy that I am here for, okay? I am here for celebrities, just unless they're Nicki Minaj. All right, Nicki Minaj, somebody has to stop her. It's enough is enough. We are so far past. We are so far past it being enough. Like, Nicki was on Twitter calling Cardi B's daughter a little girl. There's a child. Nicki was calling her a roach and a monkey. A 6-year-old child. Calling her, like saying she's ugly and calling her a roach and a monkey. Yeah, that's where Nicki is. That's where she's at. She just, I said this yesterday, but I think Nicki is like 2 steps away from reaching Kanye West territory. I just worry that if someone in her life does not get her, is she not already? The reason that I say like not fully Kanye West territory, because she hasn't reached the levels of like saying death con the Jews, you know? She has said really terrible things. She has said really terrible things. But as far as like Kanye's just full on embracing being a Nazi, you know, like putting a swastika on his shirt, expressing his love for Hitler, just doing that kind of shit, huffing laughing gas. Nicki versus Cardi, Charlie versus Taylor. This has been an insane couple of days. Yeah, the feuds are definitely the feuds are feuding. So, okay, we'll just quickly cover this. Oh, brother, Nicki Minaj and Cardi B are feuding again. It's gotten really ugly since Monday. The two women have been going back and forth. And what sucks is that if Nicki Minaj had not been so insecure and so jealous about other Black female rappers, they could have teamed up. They could have teamed up and joined forces and put their power together. And instead, what this is internalized misogyny. This is, no, it can only be me. And it's like, girl, there is such... Men dominate this industry still. And there is so much misogyny and so much bullshit that female artists have to deal with, that Black women have to deal with. Why could you not? Why did it have to be always a competition with the other female rappers? And the thing is, Cardi says some nasty stuff too, but I fear she's saying true things that you just shouldn't say. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so they've been going back and forth, hurling insults, dragging each other's children into their beef. It's really spiraled out of control even for these two. And if you've only seen a few stray tweets pop up on your timeline, you might be confused about what is happening at all. Okay, so these two have disliked each other for years and years. The specific incident you might be thinking of is when their feud reportedly turned physical in September 2018 at the Harper's Bazaar Icons party during New York Fashion Week. After months of arguing about Minaj's verse on the Migo track Motorsport, things exploded at this party with Cardi allegedly throwing her shoe at Minaj. You probably remember the image of Cardi leaving the party with her head held high and a giant knot bulging out of her forehead. Suffice it to say, these two have not been on good terms since. So, what resuscitated this feud? From what I can tell, the mere fact of Cardi releasing her new album, Am I the Drama, is what set this whole thing off. Nicki has deleted a lot of her tweets. She also does that. Nicki tweets a bunch of shit and then will delete it. But she reportedly kicked things off by tweeting $4.99, which is the promotional price of Am I the Drama. And then Nicki tweaked the lyrics to Cardi's song Magnet and turned them into a diss. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Nicki wrote, surgery to look like me, tell the rat and tell Jay-Z, Rico fraud and perjury. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, falling off the charts with a big belly, she continued, an apparent reference to Cardi's pregnancy. Running trains barefoot, still smelly, still you could not outsell me. Like, girl, just stop. Just stop. Not everything has to fucking be about you. She did the same thing with Meg and Hiss. Yes, because it's just Nicki for years now has been like, I am number one, no matter what. It's me. I'm the only female rapper in town. All of you are just trying to be me. You're all like pathetic wannabes. You are in my shadow. And it's the way that she stays relevant. Honestly, the only times that Nicki Minaj is talked about these days is when she's in another insane beef with usually a fellow female rap artist. When she's just crashing out on the timeline and it's like, here she goes again. Nurse. Cardi then hopped online complaining that there's nothing more annoying than a bored bitch and tweeting cocaine Barbie, presumably a knock at Minaj. She then shared her own updated version of Magnet lyrics that included a reference to Minaj's brother Jelani Mirage, who's currently in prison after being found guilty of raping his 11-year-old stepdaughter. And that's the other thing. If I'm Nicki and I'm surrounded by pedophiles and rapists, I'm probably keeping my mouth shut. If I have the husband and brother that Nicki Minaj has, I'm probably going, you know what? I don't need the heat. Minaj continued her offensive, repeatedly calling Cardi Barney and sharing AI images of Cardi as the purple dinosaur. Eventually, Cardi told Nicki to act her age. Why do you keep bringing up my album? It's not the gag that you think it is, Cardi wrote. You've been in the game for like 16 years. You need to compare yourself to your peers that started around your time. Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Drake. Those are the numbers that you need to be competing with, and you can't because you're doing lower than all of them. I was in high school when you came out. What the fuck is you comparing yourself to me for? It's true. She's like, girl, times have changed. This is not the same industry as when you were coming up. What do they say about each other's kids? This is where things get really upsetting. On Monday, Minaj tweeted, raw dog and pregnant with the fourth babe, Barney B, BV, HPV, allegedly. This was the final straw for Cardi, who's currently pregnant with her fourth child. Her first was Stefan Diggs. She claimed that Minaj had to go to fertility doctors because she couldn't reproduce from all them perks scrambling your eggs. God. Not allegedly, Lord protect my babies. Minaj then wrote a lengthy post denying that she had fertility issues. Like it's got nasty. That she had fertility issues and shaming Cardi for her pregnancies in language that I honestly cannot bring myself to type here. She then took a serious tack, admonishing Cardi for using infertility as a jab before pivoting to juvenile insults and calling Cardi's 7-year-old daughter Culture ugly. Can you imagine that you're 7 and an adult woman is calling you ugly because she's mad about your mom's album? They continued to trade truly awful insults about each other's children until Wednesday afternoon when things appeared to briefly have died down. Are Lotto and JT involved in this? No. In the middle of her tweets about Minaj, Cardi was also dealing with the fallout of a leaked phone call she allegedly had with Ice Spice's manager, James Roseman Jr. That's why there's a bunch of tweets where Cardi is talking about a guy named James. Why you want to act dumb? Cardi says in an alleged phone call, you don't know. I'm going to show y'all I'm not Lotto. I'm going to beat her the fuck up. I'm knock her the fuck out. Cardi later felt bad for bringing Lotto into things and posted an apology on Tuesday, adding that she would privately buy her a bag. As for JT, the City Girls rapper was actually going at it with Cardi's sister, Hennessy. Okay, so this is a whole other thing. JT had been insulting Cardi, prompting Hennessy to call her a gremlin-looking bitch dying for attention. If we go any deeper into this, we'll be here all day, but all you have to know, it has nothing to do with Cardi and Nicki. What about Jay-Z? Well, Jay-Z has been the target of Minaj's ire for several months now, and it seems like she was just in the mood to get him in the mix. In the middle of her back and forth with Cardi, Minaj accused Jay of wearing a wig. If we're being honest, this is kind of the only silver lining of the beef, only because the image of Jay and the wig did make me laugh. Okay, that's pretty funny. Jay-Z, take off that fucking lace front. It's so stupid. It's dumb. Okay, where do things stand now? After a short break, the women picked things right back up on Wednesday. Minaj directed a post to Culture directly, who it bears repeating is 7 years old. Cardi then called Minaj I think she probably deleted this because she deleted. Dear Culture, nope, she didn't. Your mom is pregnant with another monkey. Also, I have to say, like, Nikki, you know the racist history of the word monkey being applied to Black people. Okay, so what the fuck? What the fuck? She's so fucking racist. She's just just so awful. She's so awful. So awful. The gag is that she was jealous of a little baby boy simply because his hair was longer than all four of you bald monkeys put together. Jesus Christ. Calling Black kids monkeys. Really? Nikki? Really? Oh shit, where did that rest go? Okay, anyway, and then I think this is basically ended. Cardi wrote like one last tweet where she was just like, okay. Anyway, want a fake Dear Black Woman Girl, shut the fuck up, done beefed. Wait, no, I don't think that was it. Dear Annika, Tanya, Mirage, this is my last time responding to you because this past Twitter now, I gotta see you. But first, I'm gonna tell you the truth. You said out your own mouth that the little girl in you haven't forgave your mother yet, and that's because your mom used to stay silent when your dad used to touch you on every time he did that crack pipe. Like this is. I know you experienced a lot of trauma and abuse, but drugs is not going to help you. You need to go to therapy now. I'm gonna let you know this today. Your husband's not stopping you from your actions because he lets you do drugs all day to numb you, so he can max out your credit card. Yeah, you think I don't know? Them queens, Nikas, that you be letting in your house every time you kick them out, be coming and spilling your tea in the hood, but I'm going to be the realest person to ever tell you need to get help. She's talking to Nicki Minaj. You need to heal that trauma. Oh no, should I have not? I thought she was calling her Nikki. Oh, sorry, my bad. I thought that this was... I thought that was, you know what? Maybe I just shouldn't read the rest of this. Oh no. This beef is getting me in trouble. Okay, let me just read ahead. I think I'm good to read the rest of this. Okay. I'm going to be the realest person to ever tell you need to get help. You need to heal that trauma. You always coming at people every time you see them happy because you got so much trauma and pain that you want to put on others. Your fans are going to gas you up while you literally lose your goddamn mind. Damn, I was just about to sub too. Yeah, you know what? Cancel me. You don't have no friends, no family, just that man in your house that let you do drugs till you pass out so you can spend your money and buy the hood chains. I'm not throwing away my career and my endorsements going back and forth with words with a possessed drug addict. I'll see you when I see you. And then I think this was the last one. Always want to fake Dear Black Woman Girl, shut the fuck up, done beefed with every Black woman in the history. Like, girl, who the fuck beefs with SZA? And you be slick throwing shots at Beyonce, the most well, I wouldn't call Beyonce. Well, okay. While always bootlicking a white artist's ass and posting their accomplishments while they ignore you. And let me tell you something. I say what I want when I want. You don't stop shit here. Ain't nobody fucking scared of you. So, I I hereby give you the pass. No. Nope. This, as I say every time, there is a new, but not even new, because Nicki and Cardi have been beefing forever. Nicki Minaj is haunted by the fact that she no longer has the relevancy that she once had, that she no longer dominates the way that she did. She is in her 40s, which no big deal, except that there are younger women now, like Meg, like Doechii, who have come along. And so this is also a classic case of older women rejecting younger women's presence because she cannot stand to see younger, therefore like hotter, newer artists in this space that she feels she was like and still is the queen of. That Nicki looks at herself and is like, none of you will ever be me. But there's just so she is so warped. She's so warped by her jealousy. And so now the only times that you're hearing about Nicki is when she's going after a female rapper. Also Jay-Z. Gotta be for real. I'm not going to defend Jay-Z. I don't give a shit to defend Jay-Z. But as far as her like constantly attacking female rappers when they release new albums, when they win awards, whenever, like anything to do with their careers that she just cannot stand to see. Thank God they aren't her, because Nicki's sound is stuck in a specific time that doesn't stand the test of time. Yes, I mean, the industry has moved on. Like culture has moved on. This is not, mid-2000s Starships. This is not, the Nicki Minaj sound that was huge when she was, when it was mid-2000s. But now there are more rap. And also Nicki was not the first. That's what's crazy to me, is that Nicki still acts as if she was like truly, truly OG, right? She completely ignores people like Lil' Kim. She completely ignores people like Lil' Kim, Missy Elliott. Hell, Queen Latifah. She's beef with Lil' Kim too. Of course she has. Of course. Salt and pepper. I mean, that's the funniest thing about it, is like, well, the problem is Nicki rose during a female rapper drought, so she literally was the only one for years. Right. And I think because she's such a narcissist, she is like, you would not be here if it weren't for me. And it's like, okay, on the one hand, I think it's perfectly fine to look at like how Nicki Minaj had an influence on the industry, like how Nicki, shaped the rap industry when she came into the scene. But rather than it being a, Nicki is like, just wants acknowledgement for what she did and how she dominated in the space. It's like she wants to be the only one. And I think she recognizes that she is no longer relevant like she was, that she is, in harsh terms, washed up, She's no longer in her prime, not just career-wise, but also, as I said, it's like you strip all that stuff away too. And here's a woman in her 40s who like cannot handle there being women in their 20s who are getting a lot of attention, where it's like, yeah, Nicki, you're no longer in your 20s. You're no longer in your 20s. That's what happens. You get older. Everybody gets older. There's always going to be younger people. There's always going to be a 20-year-old. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Wait, really? Yeah, really. Anyway, that's kind of a summary of the latest Nicki Minaj and Cardi beef. And you know what's funny too is that every time she's beefing with someone, it's always the person she's beefing with who's like, I'm done with this. All right, here's my last message to you, and then I'm done. SZA did the same thing where SZA was like, I just want to talk about Mercury being in retrograde. Meg, same thing, where they're always like, you know what? You coked out, bitch. I'm not wasting my time on you anymore until you try to start this again some other day. Because she's exhausting. She just won't stop. And she just tries to, I think her strategy, aside from the coke, is just wearing people down. And then it always gets to this point that like lines are crossed, right? When you start talking about kids, when you start talking about children and saying things like calling them monkeys and roaches and calling them ugly, right? That's how fucked up that is, okay? That Nicki Minaj is calling a 7-year-old ugly and other terms that are racially offensive. Cardi also called and made fun of Nicki's son for allegedly being developmentally delayed, disabled. That's not cool either. Let me say, like, I don't think whenever there's a beef happening, I don't think that Cardi or whoever, or that Nicki, Jesus, that Cardi or whoever Nicki famously beefs with is always like 100% in the right. Granted, Nicki starts these beefs pretty much every time and is usually the one who takes it to that place. No, I know you're not on Nicki's side, but it is like this just gets nasty. And so it's, you just cross lines that no longer make it a beef between, no longer make it a beef that kind of qualifies as like, okay, let's keep this going. Because it just escalates to, it escalates to a really awful place. I know no kid should ever be mentioned in whatever argument. They should be off limits. I call my friends' kids little monkeys because they climb on fucking everything. That is different from intentionally using the word monkey to describe a black child in an offensive way. Like Nicki is trying to be offensive when she says that, because the reason that is the reason that that's bad, like I call Farley little monkey, you know, like that's not, without the historical context there, it's fine. But when it comes to the racist history in this country towards black people and terms that have been used, especially with black children, you know, that is a very racialized term. And Nicki 1000% had offensive intent. Yeah, she wasn't describing and that's a good point too. It wasn't describing the actions of a child who's like climbing on something. It was describing the child in the child's appearance, and she just sucks. She just is awful. All right, you guys ready to see the worst thing that I read today? Lily Oraf, thank you for the Prime. Maddie, thank you for the 26 months. Clementine, thank you for the tier 1. This is the worst thing I read today, and maybe one of the worst things that I have read ever. So this was a piece in the Free Press by Tyler Cohen, who is a 63-year-old man. He is an economics professor. He is a libertarian, and I genuinely think this is a guy who he became a libertarian because his goal is to lower the age of consent laws. Like that's the vibe that he's giving me based on just his shit, what he writes, what he says, namely this piece. Okay. So remember how we talked about, doesn't seem like a coincidence that the first AI actress who's been created is a very young looking girl, is a girl who looks like she would be a slave girl extra in a scene in Game of Thrones, and how it doesn't feel without intent that the first AI generated actress who is apparently causing a bidding war is somebody who looks this young. Okay. So this is Tilly Norwood, who I have talked about the last couple days. Also that it's specifically yes, she's a young girl, right? She's a young girl. It's not a 50-year-old man. It's not an older actress. She is a young female. She is a young girl. Okay. So here in the Free Press, it is a young girl. It is a young girl. Tyler Cohen wrote in the Free Press today, which is the Substack owned by Barry Weiss, that Barry Weiss just sold to CBS. To Paramount. Barry Weiss sold to Paramount as part of the Paramount and Skydance merger. And the total on that was $150 million. David Ellison, who is the CEO of Paramount, now Paramount Skydance, bought the Free Press for $150 million in a mix of cash and stock options. And the website will operate as a standalone entity. And on top of that, Barry Weiss is going to be now the editor-in-chief of CBS News as part of this deal. So more on that in a second. Everything is just terrible. It's bad. It's bad. Okay, more on that in a second because I just wanted to show you this, which is an example of what $150 million buys you. My favorite actress is not human. Tilly Norwood doesn't need a hairstylist, has no regrettable posts. Are you ready? And if you wish to see a virgin on screen, this is one of your better chances. That's because she's AI. Insert the dokes looking suspiciously at Dexter when he's like, I know something's not fucking right with you. What? If you wish to see a virgin on screen, this is one of your better chances. This guy is like quintessential 60-something-year-old libertarian dude who is talking about like virgins. And then I also found this. Somebody or hold on. Did I not save this? Let me see if I can find it. Wait. There was something. There was like someone had posted on Twitter another time that Tyler Cohen is talking about virgins. This is something that he. Okay, I think it was this marginal. Yes, thank you. This is on Marginal Revolution. Where to find virgins? Go to urban churches. Why is this man always talking about virgins? Why is he always obsessing over girls being virgins? That's fucking weird and disgusting. And that's why I said the libertarian mindset, where like the one thing he probably cares about most is lowering the age of consent. He's like, I just think 18 is too old. 18 is too old. I think ideally the age of consent would be like 12. Need the dope. We need a jokes emote. We do. We need a jokes emote that we can just spam whenever this shit happens. The man who would be Thursday opines, look for someone at a church in an urban area. For example, evangelicals in downtown Toronto are there because they really believe, while those in rural Alberta perhaps less so. He also adds and explains why. Find yourself a cute but not spectacular 22-year-old with a bachelor's degree. So remember how I often always say that whenever men are polled on what the ideal age of a woman is, it doesn't matter how old the men are. 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. It doesn't matter. The ideal age for men is 20 to 22. 20 to 22. They're like, yes, that is the ideal age of a woman, even if I, a man, am like 80. So find yourself a cute but not spectacular 22-year-old with a bachelor's degree. P.S. The biggest indicator that a girl is a virgin is her insistence that she wants a guy who's a virgin himself. Fucking gross, dude. Gross. And may I remind you what this man looks like? Okay? May I remind you that this is who's talking about virgins. This is who's placing a lot of emphasis on how great it is when young girls are virgins. So I can't remember who it was that tweeted, but it's like Tyler Cohen has only seen one movie and it was The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Ew, 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 ew. Also, just shave it, dude. Just shave it. He wants virgins so they have no reference for how bad the sex is. He's married. That's what's crazy. Tyler Cohen, he is married. His wife's name is Natasha. Yeah, he's fucking married. I think she's Russian. I don't know. I really don't know. What's the age gap? I don't know. Maybe it's not a big enough gap, and that's why he's just over here like, oh my God, Tilly Norwood. Oh God, she makes me feel alive. She makes me feel alive. Also, so gross to say cute but not spectacular. I mean, every word out of this man's mouth just makes me want to die. Okay, so my favorite actress is not human. Also, idiot. Like, what is she? Hasn't been in anything. She's okay. Tilly Norwood doesn't need a hairstyle, has no regrettable pose. If you wish to see a virgin on screen, this is one of your better chances. That's because she's AI. Like, I just can't get over this line. I'm sorry to read it again, but who watches something and is like, man, I really want to see a virgin on screen? Anybody who thinks that way needs their hard drives checked. If you put something on because you're like, really want to see a virgin, you're like, you know what I love in my TV shows? When teenage girls are virgins. And when I know 100% that they're virgins, they need to 100% be virgins. Yes, dokes. There we go. Sus dokes. Okay. Tilly Norwood is the actress I most want to see on the big screen, or perhaps the little screen if she gets her own TV show. Do you know what this is too? And I said this when I first was covering Tilly Norwood. This to me feels like, you know what? We want to have a girl who looks 15 and put her in situations that are very sexual, but we don't have to, we don't want to have to worry about like laws and industry regulations and all of the boxes that we have to check. And so, you know what solves that? An AI actress, because she's not a human being. We don't have to worry about any of that stuff. We can just do anything that we want. Anything we want. She is beautiful, but not too intimidating. Oh my God, dude. Every single time, I'm just going to go back here, okay? She is beautiful, but not intimidating. She has a natural smile and is just the right amount of British. A touch exotic. Really? Exotic? Because she's British? A little bit? Just the right amount of British? What does that mean? A touch exotic, but still familiar with her posh accent. Her Instagram has immaculate standards of presentation. Yeah, is the exotic in the room with us? Also, this is the type of guy who never should use the word exotic. Take it from me, okay? When I was growing up, when I was a little girl, men who looked like this would call me exotic. They would be like, what's your name? What's your real name? You're so exotic. You're so Oriental. I love Oriental girls. Where are you from? You're so beautiful. You exotic Oriental little Chinese girl. Like when I was a teenager, over and over again, this exact type of man looked like this. Similar, just the Tyler Cohen archetype would say the creepiest, most fetishizing shit to me. And I'd be like, my name is Caroline. And a lot of times, like, I'd have to serve them if I was a waitress. Like, I remember working in a country club and a group of old men, I was 17 years old, group of old men, all like Tyler Cohen, were like, oh, well, what's your real name? I said, my name is Caroline. They said, no, what's your Oriental name? Like that kind of shit. And I was like, oh my God, can I just spill these drinks all over them and then walk out? Please. Please. Oh God, I remember every write-up about Smallville back in the day had Kristen Crook referring to her exotic look. Yep. So Tilly Norwood is exotic because she's just the right amount of British. If you do not know, Tilly is not an actual human being. It is an AI creation. And recently, several agents have been bidding for the right to represent her. They think Tilly will be a hot property, and this time around, you can interpret that term literally. Tilly was concocted by actress, comedian, technologist Aline van der Velden working through her AI company, Shikosha. Van der Velden is quite real. She's a Dutch actress and has a master's degree in physics. And then it goes on, but I am certainly not going to be subscribing to this. So I think just that little bit there, tells you full body chills in the worst way possible. This is people are like, hold on, you're not gonna do that to my AMC lady. Okay, anyway.
Find me at Whole Foods, bitch. I don't care.
The line on the title track Ego Death where you say something like, I'm the most famous girl in this racist country singer.
Needs an outlet for that. Getting her into something like this, because she's also like very shy. You know, she's not about to get up on stage and sing a solo, but doing a camp where there's people just like her, it's group singing, you know, that is the kind of thing that I know would be really good for my mom. It'd be really good. And she'd be so excited about it. Oh my God. My mother performing Rose's Turn. When is it my turn? I had a dream. I dreamed it for you, Caroline. There's a lady on TikTok who I think was in her 60s and had a goal to be on Broadway. She ended up making it. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm referencing. Wait. Are you talking about when Ketanji Brown Jackson appeared in Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson appeared in, I think it was like Romeo and Juliet? And her name was Patti LuPone. Patti LuPone. Oh, Gabriel. Is that the woman you're thinking of? Because if so, that's very funny to be like a lady on TikTok who I think was in her 60s. No, she was a normal person? Who the hell? Who the hell was it? I had spine surgery a few weeks ago. Your students have been helping me a lot during recovery. Thanks for making this downtime a lot less boring. Oh, I hope you have a quick and good recovery. And thank you for the 8 months. I'll get the link. I need it. You guys know I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know these things unless they make it over to Twitter or other places where I am. Okay, but anyway, it's these same people that spend their lives oppressing themselves and take that self-hatred out on everyone around them. I just honestly, I'm gonna be so for real too. I'm gonna be so for real. Also, Sky, I already know what you're linking. I already know what you're linking. We will look at it. There's so much bad shit that's happening, and so many people who are promoting evil. And like, there's so much AI slop and just bullshit in every corner. So forgive me if a group of adults wearing tie-dye shirts learning musical theater songs at a camp is not going to have me being like, yeah, that's the new hell on earth that's just dropped. Because there are plenty of hells on earth. There are plenty of hells on earth and hells on earth that are constantly dropping. And so, no, this is not one of them. Theater adults are going to sing in public spaces or camps wearing tie-dye shirts. Which would you prefer? How about both? I support adult whimsy. I really do. One of my philosophies in life is that when you do not nourish your creative soul, because I do believe that everybody has that inner child. Everybody has that need for creativity. You know, most people aren't going to like pursue it professionally, and most people aren't going to be like, aren't going to be insane talents in the creative arts, but that doesn't mean that we don't all have that need. And so I think when you suppress that, when you're like, ew, cringe, oh, that's stupid, I do think I think you do a disservice to yourself. I think you do a disservice to yourself, and you do a disservice to others. I do. Gianmarco talked about on Stavi's podcast being in an acting class and doing an exercise restating characters Daniel Day-Lewis in my left foot for a day. That's amazing. Sig Fenmel, thank you for the 2 months. Minor Threat, thank you for the 25. Alyssa, thank you for the 10. Hogan, thank you for the gifted. But group singing and church and praising isn't literally the exact same thing as this. Oftentimes, like, get the fuck out. Okay, let me say, I love singing so much. Like, I love being in a chorus. The only thing that I liked in church was getting to be a part of the church choral group. And we didn't just do church songs. We didn't just do Catholic songs. We would have rehearsal once a week. We put on shows. We did Godspell. We did stuff like that. But it was just the look, I hate the rest of this shit. I don't care about any of this stuff. But it was just getting to be a part of a group where at least once a week, I mean, on top of the other choral groups I was a part of, but like at least once a week I was getting to sing. And that was good for me. That was good for me. My theory is that a lot of super Christians just love singing. They're like, I don't even care what it is. I just love to sing. How great thou art. And the truth is, as much as I hated Catholic Mass, there were a lot of beautiful Catholic songs. Gorgeous. And like in the halls of our great church, how the sound, I mean, the acoustics were crazy. Just like gorgeous songs, really good choir. You're Catholic? I was raised Catholic. I'm not Catholic. I was raised Catholic, but I was saying that getting to be a part of the choir and sing was like the only thing that I liked. And the reason that I didn't want to just kill myself in the pews every single week when I was forced to go. There's that one girl who thought she was super religious. Then she went to a concert and realized she just liked live music. Yes, I remember her. She was like, wait, I think I just really love live music. Hold on. I thought I was really religious, and it turns out that I just love music. Some songs about Jesus absolutely go off, I'm afraid. That's what I'm saying, okay? I'm saying, like, some songs really slap. How Great Thou Art, full choir, gorgeous. Gorge. And then during Christmas was my favorite because we would always sing. We would always sing. Dong, ding. And the church was always so beautifully decorated. And the sound would just rise. Words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Ah, cheer, Christmas is here. I mean, this song is S tier. This song is S tier. It goes so hard. Dong, ding, dong, ding, dong. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they sound crazy. Even having to do the alto part, which was not as fun as soprano, it was still good. Merry, Merry Christmas, Merry, 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 Merry Christmas. Yeah, see, you know what I'm talking about. The scene in Home Alone. Scene in Home Alone, chills, still chills. Like, you know who has one of the best all-time choirs is the Mormon Tabernacle. The Mormon Tabernacle Choir is one of the most prestigious and greatest choral groups. They go incredibly hard. They go incredibly hard. the Mormon Tabernacle, and they are, I mean, that is like top tier, very prestigious. Manong Hassan, thank you for the 27 months. Alex, thank you for the 3. Noon, thank you for the Prime. Maria, thank you for the 15 months. Jack, thank you for the 32 months. Okay, wait, where's that TikTok of the 60-year-old lady who made it to Broadway? I was looking at the way the blue lights were shining, bringing out the freedom in your eyes. Yeah, you know, that's what I was going for. Shoot. I need my light changer so that I can actually bring out the blues in my eyes. Where'd this shit go? I don't know. Damn it. I was going to change my light to blue so that actually the freedom would show in my eyes. This is the lady that was talked about before. Oh, okay.
Welcome to my series, Never Too Late, Living the Dream at 56. I know some of you are thinking, why would a 56-year-old woman with white hair move to New York City to pursue her Broadway dreams at this stage in her life? I ask myself that question all the time. But then I think,
Okay,
why would
slay!
I? This isn't my first time at the rodeo, friends. To be honest, when I pursued this dream in my 20s, I lacked the maturity to navigate the ups and downs of pursuing a goal. I was here on my own with little support and did the best I could at the time. My prayer is that this time will be different. Can you believe I've been here almost 1 month? And to be honest, I've already had to deal with some big no's and some surprise yeses. I'm here doing the work it takes, not only as a dancer, but more importantly, as a singer and actor.
I have to send this to my mom. I have to be like, look, mother, it's never too late for you.
Which is so exciting. So we'll see where this leads. And to be honest, on those days,
Does she work as a Jill Stein extra, like as a double? Her side job is that she's a double for Jill Stein.
when I doubt myself, I try to remind myself that the pain of
That
not
never
trying will be way worse than
sleeps.
giving it one more shot.
Let's
Stay tuned,
go,
friends.
girl.
The best is yet to come.
She heard Do It Lady and she was like, I'll do it. I'm a lady and I'll do it. That's, you know what? That's awesome. Good for her. Good for her. That's a lovely story, you know? Look, it's never too late. I think there's so many things that we think we can only do when we're younger. That there's a window, and if you pass that window, then sorry, that's it. That's it. That's all. And especially careers in the entertainment business, be it theater or film, there is this really concrete belief that if you don't make it when you're younger, then you can never, it's done. Like this, that's it. There's no opportunity for you. Just pack it up. Goodbye. And I think it's because when you're younger and you don't quite have yet the responsibilities you have when you're older, so you can more freely pursue it because, you know, youth is so valued and you're like, I'm young and I'm gonna make my dreams come true. And then you get older and you're like, I had that time to make my dreams come true and they didn't come true. So that's it now. And I think, no, I think always be pursuing your passions. Always. Even if it's not to a professional extent. Go for it, you guys. Do you know how many streamers I've talked to who are like, I really want to take an acting class? Or I mean, right now kind of the meta is singing. The meta is like singing and making songs. And that is because people saw other people doing it and then felt encouraged by that. We're like, that looks really fun. I've always loved to sing and maybe that's something I'll try. And I've talked to streamers about taking improv classes, which is not for me, but is good for other people. Like when I was talking to Ted Nivison, who has been taking improv classes over the last year, he was like, this is the greatest decision that I made. It's just so good for me. It's just feeding my soul in a way to help me then sustain my work as a content creator. So I think, you know, try that acting class, take a singing lesson, go to improv, you know, if that's always something that I think too, it can help you in life no matter what. Like I had friends in Chicago who took improv not because they were pursuing comedy or any type of entertainment job. Yes, but because they wanted to learn the skills, not just try something new, have a new experience, but learn skills from improv that then they could apply to the, you know, to the other parts of their life. And a friend of mine who was really shy, like very, very shy, very introverted, but just so funny too. And I think she wanted to feel just more confident and not just confident in her job and her relationships and stuff, but like confident in being funny. Like she was a funny person, but she was just very shy. So she took improv and she didn't just take one class. She went through the entire course at Second City and she was like, it was the best. I made a bunch of friends and there were other people like me who just wanted improv for reasons other than pursuing it as a career. And she's like, it was just the best decision that I made. So Quarter J decided to make a song after gaining confidence in her singing after the OTV Christmas album. Yes, I firmly believe you must nourish your soul. Okay. You must nourish your soul. You must find any way to nourish it. And I think all of us have a creative spirit to some degree, and you have to figure out how to honor that, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is that feeds that. Maybe that's like you love going to museums and looking at art. Maybe it's you love to just sketch in a sketchbook, or you like to sing. You want to, you know, you want to learn Shakespeare monologues, play an instrument, paint. Like my sister Liz was always a naturally talented artist. Like when she was younger, was just always painting and sketching things. She took one class and then for like 15 years, my sister did not nourish that part of her and was like always just like, no, I'm not good at this. I'm like, but you're not trying to sell your work. You're not trying to make this as a career. This was something that you did because you enjoyed it. And you also are naturally talented. And she's just like, no. And she works in like a finance consulting, that type of job. She's been at the same job since college. It's just very much repetition every day. And finally, this past year, she signed up for an art course. She did. And she's been taking classes once a week. And she said that her teacher was surprised because it was supposed to be an intro class. She said her teacher was surprised that she was already way past what usually beginners would be at. And so her teacher's been throwing more and more stuff at her. But you know, it's that kind of thing where it's like you think about it, you take the leap, right? You take the leap. And hobbies are so important. And sometimes because of capitalism, your hobbies become commodified and then you no longer actually have a hobby. It's now this is my job, and you can lose the joy from that as well. So I think just making sure you always have something for yourself, right? Making sure you always have something for yourself so you don't have to just look at everything as like, well, it's got to be a business. I can't just do this because if I'm not making money from it, if this isn't a business, then it's a waste of time. I'm 30. Is it too late to start streaming? How old was I when I started streaming? How old was Will when he started streaming? I have a corpo job and free nights and really want to, but everyone here is like early 20s. And everyone older seems like they've always been on here for years. Yeah, Mike was 35. Mike was even old. Yeah, there are people in their 30. Okay, all right, you guys got jokes. Okay, you guys got jokes. I was 30 years old when I started streaming. Will was 30 when he started streaming. Mike was 35. Like, there are definitely people who start later as opposed to what you think. You think everybody on the platform is like 22 years old. That's phase. Okay, don't confuse phase. Don't confuse phase with all of us, with the rest of us. Dank Techno, thank you for the bits. Is there a chance of Claire Obscure? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have an answer. Windflower, thank you for the 9 months. This next month, it's all, we're in October. It's all going to be horror. Wallaby Beatles, thank you for the 23. Lou 9 Milk, thank you for the 3 months. Carlos, thank you for the 34 months. Using the next decade as prep for my streaming career. Great. There you go. I have friends too who they stream just because they play video games anyway after they're done with work. And they're like, might as well just go live. And it's just a fun thing. You know, they still have their jobs. But they stream because they're like, I'm going to be gaming anyway. So even if I have like 2 people in here. Okay. All right. Things to talk about today. Cutie McBitty, thank you for the 2 months. Things to talk about today. We are going to talk about some Hollywood stuff. We're going to cover the Jane Fonda relaunch of the free speech group that was started by her father in the 50s. Also, the Hollywood backlash to Tilly Norwood. And then also we're going to cover maybe one of the craziest things one of the worst things I've ever read. One of the worst things I've ever read, which of course was written in the Free Press. We'll also be talking about the official Free Press sale, which was $150 million. And Barry Weiss has a new fancy title as well. So not just $150 million, but a new title. We'll touch on the government shutdown. Bill Burr has responded in regards to the backlash over him performing at the Riyadh Comedy Fest. The flotilla update. Surprise, surprise. The activists have been kidnapped. I heard Tilly is MAGA. Tilly called me a slur. She did. Have you seen what the guy who made Tilly looks like? I thought it was, the woman who owns the company is Aline Vandervelden. She's the one who launched, she's the one who founded Particle 6, and Particle 6 just launched an AI talent studio called Jacosia. And that is what is going to be creating this new generation of artificial intelligence talent. Okay, so lots of stuff to talk about. Also, speaking of Phase, did you see Phase Add Up just donating 10% of his subathon revenue to children in Gaza? I did see that, which I think it's really great. The fact that more streamers are talking about Palestine, doing what they can for Palestine. So that's a dub. That is a dub. Momo's Bowby, thank you for the 9 months. There's only room for one Tilly in Hollywood, and it's Jennifer Tilly. Tilly Norwood, move the fuck aside. I've also seen TikToks of people being like, tell me why Tilly Norwood looks just like me. people making TikToks being like, this is me. Tilly Norwood stole my face. Okay, so let's start off by talking about, actually, wait. Hold on. Before we get to that, Let me find.
I'm the most famous girl in this racist country singer. There's a line on the title track, Ego Death, where you say something like, I'm the most famous girl in this racist country singer.
I'll be